What is up, everyone? It's Simon. We're back to talk about why the best gear may not be the best gear for you. One of the things that I always hear newer photographers talk about is, oh, I want this piece of gear. Oh, I want that piece of gear. And it's usually something that is in a price point that is above where their current equipment is, or it's at like another level of what it is capable of doing. And I'm not trying to say that is not a valid reason to try and acquire equipment. But there are times when people, especially newer, younger photographers, have a tendency to think, I need that gear to be good. When in reality, you don't. You can do a lot of stuff with a lot of different gear, and even with entry-level gear, you can create some magical art. That being said, I, as a working professional, have the ability to have a lot of different gear. And something that I've been thinking a lot about lately is what makes gear work best for me. And if you've watched my recent videos about the Sony 16-25 and 24-50, you'll realize that what the absolute best of the best gear isn't necessarily what I find to be the best for my situation. I'm actually filming this video on the 24-50 f2.8 right now because I sold my G Master lenses to technically downgrade away from the G Master 24-70 f2.8 and 16-35 f2.8 to get the smaller, much more lighter. And that was one of the things that I've been thinking about is like, what makes a good kit and why is it that we get in this mindset of the best of the best is always the best? What are some things to consider when you're deciding your equipment? One of the big ones right off the bat is size. Like one of the big things for me about going to the 16-25 and 24-50 was that they were half the size and weight of the 24-50 or 24-70 and 16-35. It saves me a lot of bag weight and bag space because I'm now able to pack my bags differently so that I can use everything in a much more efficient manner. What's something else to think about? A prime example, I am a huge advocate of the FX6. It is a beast of a camera in a pretty small package. Again, similar talking about physical things, but also thinking about what is it like for post-production. A project I'm working on, we had to film in 8K high quality on the Red Raptor, which is 47 minutes per terabyte of hard drive space, or per card. On my FX6, I get 150 minutes for under 500 gigs of data. So I get, let's see, 45, we'll just 45, 90, 135. So I get more than 7x the amount of footage for the same space. And yes, I know this is 4K to 8K. This obviously doesn't film in 4K, but majority of what I need to do and what I'm filming and what most people are filming in or needing to film for, you don't need that craziness. So save yourself on hard drives. Again, why the best gear isn't always the best. The Red Raptor is kind of seen as like the best camera out there, but in reality, like this can do a lot of that same thing. Speaking of how can we do stuff without the best of the best, the FX6 costs like $6,000 to really get into, and you can do a lot with just like the very bare bones purchase of an FX6. Mine has been built up over years, but it did not get built up initially. A Red Raptor is like $35,000, $40,000. If you want to get into the ARRI space, that's $100,000 if you're buying new. Obviously, you can buy used and save some money, but like there's a lot of investment into that. And yes, I know that there are lower end cameras like the Komodos that are in that $6,000 to $7,000 space, but they don't have internal NDs, internal audio recording at the same quality as this, or I should say at the same capabilities as this. So you have to then purchase other things on afterwards to be able to have them do the same thing that this can do without it, like initial purchase. Similarly, talking about tripods, like if you're in the film space, less the photography space, you hear a lot of people talk about Sachtler, O'Connor, those kinds of things, and they're great tripods, but they also start at $3,000 for the most part for the ones that are really the good ones out there, and O'Connors are like $10,000 easily. Whereas this guy from Benro is probably all in, you're probably talking $700 and can do a lot, but also it is smaller, lighter, better for what I do, because again, thinking about what my use case is. So this video is kind of me talking about like, think about how you're really gonna use gear to decide what gear is the best gear for you, because we all want that best thing, but in reality, like, it's not always the best. I mean, to give you another example, the Sony 24-105 is my favorite lens ever. And yet, it's not the best lens. It's a $1,200 lens. The G Masters are all easily $2,000. But this is the most versatile lens Sony's ever made. I've used this since the day it came out. I literally ordered it the day that it was available for order. And it's great. Most used lens by far of anything I own. And it's a $1,200 lens versus the multi $2,000 lenses that I've owned over the years having the Sony G Masters. That being said, there are certain things I would not skimp on. Memory cards. You want something that's going to have that nice fast read-write speed so that it's able to keep up with whatever camera you're using. Camera bags. I don't want to break my stuff. I want my stuff to be safe. So things like the Shimoda bags or Think Tank Photos, another great company. I'm not actually paid by any of them, so I can say what I want, but there are two fantastic companies that you could get a bag from that will protect your gear no matter what price point it is. So yeah, think about what your gear is that's the best situation for you, not I need the best gear because it's the best gear. I hope that helps. If you guys have questions, if you guys have things you're thinking about when it comes to gear acquisition, leave a comment down below. If you guys have other questions, hit me up on Instagram at Simon Eisenbach. Have a great week. See you guys next time.